Welcome back, everyone, to The Hungry Heathen. I know I've been absent for at least a few weeks, but the reason for that is I have had to prioritize other things over the channel. One of the big ones, I was just given an interview with one of the city fire departments. For those of you that don't know, I've been volunteering for 13 years. This has been a dream of mine since I was a kid. Now, I love this channel dearly, and I love all of you that watch my content, regardless of how dumb I am. But I had to kind of prioritize that over content. Now, that being said, a couple weeks ago, the kid and I, Small Heathen and I, went on a nature hike, and I did record a bit of content for that. For some reason, my phone won't talk to my computer. I can't get them to connect, and it won't pull the videos off of it. So I need to get a different cable and see if that helps. But obviously, we're not in the kitchen, so we're definitely not cooking. I figured we would just come right back with story time. So, reading from our poetic Edda. I have the Jackson Crawford translation. We're going to read this week the Theft of Mjolnir, the Thrymskvida, which is one of my favorite stories. It's got some comic elements to it where Thor ultimately cross-dresses and all this other stuff. It's a good story. I enjoy it. So give me a minute. I have to go do something quick, and we're going to jump right into it. So we'll be right back. We're back. Now, for those of you that have the Jackson Crawford translation of the Edda, I highly recommend it if you don't. It's a very good translation. Jackson Crawford is, he's not a practitioner, but he's absolutely a scholar. The story starts on page 115. Take a sip of tea here. Clear out the old vocal cords quick. Okay. Thor was angry when he awoke and found his hammer had gone missing. He wrung his beard, he wrung his hair. The great Thor searched all around, and the first thing that he said was this: "Listen to me, Loki, listen to this. Something never known before in Midgard or in Asgard has happened. Mjolnir has been stolen." They then went to Freya's lovely home, and the first thing Loki said was this: "Freya, would you lend me your feather suit to help us get Thor's hammer back?" Freya replied with, "I would give it to you even if it were made of gold. I would loan it to you even if it were made of silver." Then Loki flew, wearing Freya's feather suit. Its feathers whistled in the air till he left Asgard and came within Jotunheim. There, Thrym sat on a mound, a king of giants. He was fastening golden chains to his dogs' necks, but he was combing the manes of his horses. "What news from the gods? What news from the elves? Why have you come alone into Jotunheim, Loki?" Loki then said, "Bad news from the gods and bad news from the elves. Have you hidden the mighty Thor's hammer?" Thrym replied with, "I have hidden the mighty Thor's hammer, 8 miles beneath the earth. And no one will ever see that hammer again unless Freya is brought here to be my bride." Then Loki flew, wearing Freya's feather suit. Its feathers whistled in the air until he left Jotunheim and came into Asgard. He met Thor in the center of Asgard, and the first thing Thor said was this: "Were your efforts rewarded on this journey? Stay in the air and tell me what news you have. Stories are often forgotten when the teller sits down, and lies are often told when people lie down." Loki said, "My efforts were rewarded with this news. Thrym, a king among giants, has your hammer. No one will ever find that hammer again unless Freya is brought to him for his bride." Then they went to find lovely Freya, and the first thing Thor said was, Freya, put on a wedding dress. The two of us, man and woman, are going to Jotunheim. Freya was angry. She snorted so hard that the homes of the gods shook all around them. Her necklace, Brisingamen, trembled on her neck. They would call me a loose, lewd woman if I went with you to Jotunheim. Soon, all the gods met for a conference. All the goddesses met for a conference. And the mighty gods spoke a long time about how they might get Mjolnir back. Then Heimdall spoke, the handsomest of gods. As one of the Vanir, he could see the future. Let's put a wedding dress on Thor. Let him wear Freya's necklace, the Brisingamen. Let's hang keys from his belt. We'll drape a woman's dress to his knees and place jewels on his chest, and wrap a pretty headdress around his head. Then Thor, the strong god, spoke. All of the Aesir would call me a sissy if I let you put a wedding dress on me. Then Loki, son of Laufey, spoke. Silence, Thor. No more of that talk. Unless you can get your hammer back, the giants will soon live in Asgard. So they put a wedding dress on Thor. They put the Brisingamen on his neck. They put a chain of jingling keys at his belt. And they draped a woman's dress down to his knees. They placed jewels on his chest. And they wrapped a pretty headdress around his head. Then Loki, son of Laufey, said, Now, I'll go as your serving woman. The two of us, man and woman, are going to Jotunheim. Then they took Thor's goats and made them pull the wagon. Mountains crumbled and the ground burst into flame as Odin's son drove into Jotunheim. Then Thrym, king of the giants, spoke. Stand up, giants, spread hay on the seats. Bring Freya, daughter of Njorth, lord of Jotun, closer to me as my bride. Here at my home, we giants have gold-horned cows and black oxen for our dinners. I have plenty of treasures, plenty of necklaces. The only thing I lack is Freya. Early in the evening, the giants gathered, and ale was brought to all of them. All on his own, Thor ate a whole ox, 8 salmon, all of the delicacies reserved for the women, and drank 3 whole kegs of mead. Then Thrym, the king of the giants, spoke. Who has ever seen a woman eat like this? I never saw a woman take bites that big, nor a girl who drinks so much mead. But Loki, Thor's clever bridesmaid, found words to answer the giant's suspicions. Freya could not eat at all for 8 nights. That's how eager she was to come here to Jotunheim. The giant lifted the veil, hoping for a kiss, but then he leapt back the full length of the hall. Why are Freya's eyes so fierce and grim? It seems to me that fire is burning in those eyes. But Loki again, Thor's clever bridesmaid, found the words to answer the giant's suspicions. Freya could not sleep at all for 8 nights. It's just how eager she was to come here to Jotunheim. The giant's poor sister came in. She thought she would claim the customary gift from the bride. Give me some of your golden rings if you want to live, win my love, my affection, a good welcome from me. Then Thrym, the king of giants, spoke. Bring in the hammer to bless the bride. Lay Mjolnir on the bride's knees. May Var, goddess of wedding vows, bless us. Then Thor, the tough-minded fighter, laughed with a full heart, gripping his hammer. First, he killed Thrym, the king of giants. Then he crippled the giant's kin. And then he killed the giant's old sister, the one who asked him for the customary gift. She received a blow instead of money to her head. Instead of a hammer. Instead of golden rings. And this is the way Odin's son got his hammer back. Now, it's a short story. But it's absolutely one of my favorite stories. It's also a fine example, if you'll remember from previous videos, of Loki's ability to shapeshift and gender bend. In the story, Thor is referred to in a masculine way, whereas Loki is only referred to as the clever bridesmaid, which I don't remember how many videos ago it was, but this was a whole topic of discussion among our community. So I love that story because of the comedic aspect of it. Thor, this big, tough, burly god, wearing a dress and going as Freya, to Jotunheim. And doing all of the things that Thor does, because Thor is wearing a costume, so Thor is still Thor. Whereas Loki is presenting as a woman. And Loki has to hilariously explain away all of the things that Thor is doing. Is, oh, no, Freya ate like that because she hasn't eaten for 8 days. She was just so excited to come here and see you. And then the eyes, Thor's eyes. Loki again has to hilariously explain away that no, Freya's eyes are like that because she hasn't slept for 8 days because she was so excited to see you. And then Thor gets his Mjolnir back and proceeds to kill all of them. Much to the delight of Loki, I'm sure. This is one of my favorite stories. Easily one of my favorite stories. It's very short. There's no build up to anything. We just get right into it and get right to it. So this is absolutely going to be a shorter video, which is not a bad thing. Next video, I'm going to try and get my computer to talk to my phone so I can hopefully upload our nature walk. With the weather getting nicer, that's probably going to start being another feature on the channel. Next week, I'm hoping to cook. It'll probably be a salmon dish that I made. I don't know if you follow my Instagram and my Facebook, you'll have seen it a few weeks ago. It was delicious, and I wholeheartedly intend on making it again. So, another video we've got coming up, we're going to get into the cookbook again. I finally have a leg of goat waiting for me at the meat market. I just need to go pick it up. That's on the list of things to do. I know I've been absent. Life has just kind of gotten in the way lately. So I'm going to do my best to get back into making content again for you guys. So that being said, I am the Hungry Heathen. Thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for following the channel, and thank you all for being patient with me. We'll see you next time.